Hello, my name is Antonio Jimenez. Welcome to the JMeter channel. This is the chapter number 6, load test. The agenda for today is review the load generator config, the basic load test, load generator stats, and target server counters. Okay, so if you remember well, we were just working into a basic script. This script mainly handle 4 main flows. The flow for find a flight, reserve a flight, buy the flight, and sign up users. The users for find, reserve, and buy are a random variable from 1 to 200 with a mask of 3 zeros that is going to be logging in and then reserve, buy, or find a flight. Let's take a look real quick to one user that the flow is being executed correctly. I need to enable these guys. And I need to disable the think time. So now I get login with the load user 177. There you go. Okay. Let's sign in with this user and let's check that we have already a flight. Yes, indeed, we have a flight from Denver to Zurich for load test 177. Okay. It works perfectly. We have the different flows. We're going to sign up new users, but with a mask of 4 zeros from 1 to 5,000. We can put really 9999. It doesn't matter. So those will be the new users that we are going to sign up. The script works perfectly. We are going to enable the think time. We need to disable the view results stream, both of them, because under load, these guys are going to consume a lot of memory, a lot of resources. So we need to disable them. And we're going to execute a basic load test with 10 virtual users. And then we're going to go upper, like with 100, 200, 500. There is an important thing here, 2 important things here. The first one is the action that's going to be taken when we find an error. It depends on the scope. If your scope is to continue, probably you're going to have more errors, or you are going to hit higherly the error rate because you're going to continue. Probably you face an error and you have correlations based upon the request that it's been with issues. Probably you're going to carry on more errors, but it depends on the scope. If you don't know yet or you are not sure, use start next thread loop. The other thing is delay thread until needed. JMeter executes with all the resources from the scratch, from the beginning. But if you click on here, it's going to it's going to grab the resources slowly. Just when they needed to get the resource, they will get for them, and it's going to be added to the threads that's going to be execute the virtual users. Okay, let's save the script. And I'm going to switch to non-GUI to execute the load tests. So I'm going to close my JMeter and I'm going to go to command line. If you are not a Linux Unix person, I strongly recommend that you can. This is the best moment to start to learn it. Why? Let's think that for a minute that probably you're executing 1,000 virtual users. You probably will need to switch among different servers, and this is ways by command line. You can automate a lot of things by command line. If you're working in GUI, even you cannot execute by GUI only if you are executing distribute load tests with JMeter. But if you are not, you need to execute everything manually. manually, but from the Wii, and my opinion is really clumsy or slowly. Okay, let's go to the script. First, what I need is to create a copy of the JMeter folder that is going to be act as my load generator. I'm going to name it LG. Okay, so I'm going to my downloads folder and then LG, and then I'm going to switch to the bin folder where the shell scripts are. I'm going to take a look to the JMeter SH script, where is the shell scripting lies. And there is an important thing here, is the JVM args. What are the JVM args? Let's think for a minute that your computer could be a load generator. Yes. But, and only if only if you are not running graphical mode. Like for example, I am on Mac. If I am on Mac, I would need to be running in mode 3 without any graphical interface to have more resources to be able to give it to the JMeter processes. If you're running a load generator, it's going to be dedicated mostly to be a load generator. Ubuntu 14, 12 versions or 16 versions from the cloud are the greatest configurations or load generators that you can use to execute JMeter as a load generator, because you can just have like 8 cores, 8 gigabytes of memory, or you can have more. If you're in AWS, you can have like 16 cores and 128 gigabytes of memory. So if your load generator is adimensional, it has, you can put more resources into your load generator. You can just play with these arguments in order to fix the amount of memory that you are going to give to the JMeter process and how much is going to be increased in the memory. This factor is related and closely related to the cache. The HTTP cache in JMeter, if you put the number, for example, 5000 or 500, is the number of elements that is going to be stored in memory. So it depends on how much memory you are planning to use. On the number of virtual users that you plan to use, it's the amount of CPU and memory that you are going to consume. Take a look closely to the JVM arguments. In this case, I'm not going to play to modify the JVM arguments. Why? Because since the version 3.1, it's well tuned, the algorithm for garbage collector in JMeter. It's pretty cool. I mean, we don't need probably to modify if you're running a low test, like 5000, probably up to 200 to 5000, probably you don't need to modify. But if you're really going to run large or low tests, probably you will need, because probably you will have a large load generator. Okay, so let's copy the script that is located in the root folder, WebTours. I'm going to copy it here, and I'm going to name it WebTours with the number of users that we are going to execute. Now, this is going to be my baseline. This is not a load test per se, it's a baseline, because I'm going to use these values later in order to take a look how much the scripts or the response they have changed in time. I'm going to execute it. I use the command -n-t to describe that it's non-we, and I'm going to use this JMX file, and -l to describe that I'm going to log everything into this GTTL file. Right now, I'm going also to take a look into the resources of my load generator, and also I'm going to take a look on the resources of the target server. The target server is a Windows 7, which is running the WebTours tool. So it's more graphical. So let's take a look into it. Okay, here we are. Here we are into the target terror. This target terror, as you may see, it's pretty low. The load that we are having, it's just around 5%, 4%. So it's pretty low. We are already in steady state. Steady state is when the users are already rampant. Okay. Not much here, not much in here, not much CPU used by the Java process. 1% sometimes 0%. Okay. Now, I'm going to add more virtual users. We're going to execute a load test with 100, and then 200, and then 500. Okay. Now, there are two ways to stop properly the JMeter load test. You can, from the window that you're executing or the terminal that you're executing, you can click Ctrl+C and you can stop it, but it's going to stop in a bad way. It's not going to end it graceful the process, and it's not going to end correctly the log file. What you need to do is you need to go to the same folder, or probably other folder if you have it, of JMeter. You need to use the stop test command or shell script, or the shutdown shell script. Use stop test because it graceful shutdowns everything. So I need to go to downloads, then JMeter LG, and I'm going to click on stop test. Stop test already stopped the JMeter process, and I'm going to copy my script to 100 virtual users. And I need to modify this in order to increase the load. I'm going to put ramp up time of 100 seconds as number of threads 100. It will be pretty easy just to execute adding a zeros, and there you go. This time we can see more CPU used by the Java process. We are using more CPU. Why? Because we are adding more virtual users or threads, and they are increasing the resources needed in the load generator. Okay. Right now it's still ramping, but we can see something that I forgot to tell you. As you may see, there is one line that has the plus symbol, and there is one line that has the equal symbol. What is this? We have two lines. The first line is going to be how many requests who have sent in the lapse of time. The lapse of time sometimes is between 25, 29, 30, 35 seconds. So in the last 25 seconds, in the last 30 seconds, we have sent 169 requests, or 5.7 hits per second, in an average response time of 52 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds as minimal response time, or 439 maximal response time. 0% error rate, which is good, and how many users we have active and started. Right now we are almost ramped up, so we are just about to stay into the steady state. In the last 30 seconds, we hit almost 8.4 hits per second, which is it's a pretty good number right now. The resources used by the load generator, right now we can see 7, we can see 5. It's a little bit more resources used. Let's take a look into the target server. Now the target server, as you may see, this is for 10 virtual users, and now we have the 100 virtual users load. We are in the range of about 25, probably 30, 35. We're in this range of consumers of CPU. Well, let's increase even more to 200, and then let's go to 500. We are right now we are at a steady state. As you may see, the highest value for hits per second was 9. At this moment, 9. At this moment was 8.7. At this moment was 9. It's not been increasing. So what is usually happen? The hits per second or requests per second, it's been increasing. At some point, it doesn't get bigger, but when it gets bigger, it's the response time, because it's like it's elastic. So this is not having more requests, but this is going to be increasing. As you may see, we didn't increase in here. We almost stay on the same level, but the response time got increased to almost 3 times. Oh, I was taking a look at minimal, but it's almost pretty same that we can explain here. 8.4 with 800 milliseconds. It didn't get increased much to 9, but it almost increased 3 times. Okay? Great. Let's stop this test and let's start a new one with 200 virtual users. Okay, thread. Okay. Okay, let's run 200 virtual users. Let's take a look at the CPU. For a moment, we got like 200%, which is I have 4 cores in this computer, so I can go up to 400%. But it's been a lot of CPU consuming for this one. Memory, not that much right now, but we are still in the ramping up. We have 32 virtual users right now. We are expect to get 200 virtual users at this time. Let's go to the target server. Same behavior, we are ramping up. Okay. In the past 30 seconds, we sent 170 requests at 5.7 hits per second. We are still in the range of milliseconds. At this time, we're in the range of seconds. 3.6 seconds. (231 requests, 7.7, 500 milliseconds. This WebTours project that belongs to HP or right now to Micro Focus probably, it has everything embedded. It has a web server, application server, and database server on it. It's like pretty much like Node.js, like has everything on it. But this package can do pretty good. Uh, its job. I mean, it became with HP Load Runner Suite, so you can just make your load test. Remember that load runner came with 50 users top, so probably, well, with load runner you can just play with 50 users. What you need to do is reduce or play a little bit with the think time or waiting time in order to have more or less transactions per second or requests per second. Because you cannot play with more than 50 users because that's the license that it came with the application. Well, the free version, well, the demo version came just with 50 users. But with Lowrunner, with JMeter, we can play with 400, with 200, 500, whatever you want, as much as you can, or your load generator can support it or stand it. We're just about to get the steady state of 200 virtual users. If we take a look careful of the last execution, um, we reached the max number of hits per second was 9.1. At this time it was 9.3, but that's top. I mean, we can go any further of these hits per second. That's the maximum number of hits per second that the server can resolve. What is going to be increased right now, it's only the response time. From 3 seconds, well, from milliseconds, go to 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, 12 seconds. We are now in the 14 seconds. Probably we're going to be steady or flatten at 15, 16 seconds at steady state. Let's take a look how it looks, our load generator. Your load generator is just fine. We are consuming more memory. We're consuming about 340 megabytes of memory right now. CPU not that much. We can just increase a little bit. Let's take a look on the destination server. We had a terrible spike in here to reach the almost the 100% CPU. But let's move forward. Let's make an execution of 500 virtual users. I'm going to stop this test. I'm going to put an aggressive ramp up. I'm going to put number of threads. We're going to execute 500, but we're going to put 50 seconds. So 10 users are going to get in each second. Okay, let's see how it looks. Take a look on the CPU, my load generator. It went crazy for a moment. A lot of CPUs being consumed. Let's see the target server. Probably we're going to see a lot of consume of CPU. Take a look. It didn't get increased to. It didn't get above something above 9. It's 9.0. It could be 9.3 probably. Let's stop. But it can get any further, even with 353 virtual users. Right now, probably there is not too much flow because we are just retrieving like homepage or whatever. But once that some users get in to do something like buy flights or whatever, buy flights is it's a it's a transaction that consumes most of the CPU and memory. Right now, it's even with the random controller, so it's like 25% each. Find flight, reserve flight, buy the flight, and sign up a new user. Oh, let's see what happened here. This is really bad. Hit per second got above 9, but why? Because we are now right now we're having bad hits or bad responses because we're having a lot of errors with 500 virtual users. See? We need to take a look what's going on. I'm going to take a look real quick what's going on. That's why I encourage you to learn some Linux commands, because if you know how to tail logs, it will be pretty easy for you to detect issues under load. Well, there you go. There are some timeout. Remember that I set the timeout as 120 seconds. Response times are taking something bigger than that. That's why probably we're getting these connection timeouts. Most of them are connection timeouts. Connection timeouts, yes. Okay. Well, remember, if you have any question, you can send me an email. You can contact me to antoniojn@hotmail.com. Send me any question that you have. I will be glad to answer you, free of charge, of course. My only goal is to help others to learn more about this wonderful tool. So if you have any question, just drop me an email, and I will be, if I know how to solve it or I know where you can see the light, I will share it to you. Okay? Well, that's all from my side. I'm going to stop this load test, and in the next video we're going to review the GTTL files. We're going to take a look what we can do to analyze the logs, graphs, reports, and then in the next video we're going to see API calls. Stay in touch, stay tuned.